The disgraced founder of FTX, Sam Bankman-Fried, is still being held in the Bahamas on fraud charges and awaiting extradition to the United States. So far, he is the only one indicted in the stunning collapse of the crypto exchange last month. But speculation is growing over who else from his inner circle might be next. Let's bring in criminal defense attorney and former prosecutor Bob Bianchi. This whole situation is so interesting, Bob. He gets arrested right before he's supposed to testify in front of the, House Banking Services Committee, to whom, members of which he had donated more than $300,000, right?
Yeah, John, it's kind of unfortunate. I would have liked to have seen him testify as a prosecutor under oath in that committee hearing where they can pretty much ask him anything they want to. One of the unique characteristics of this legal case is he's giving these very extensive and in-depth interviews where he's saying, my lawyers are telling me not to talk, but I feel like I have an obligation to talk. But those are all done that are not under oath. So this would have been an opportunity where they could have gotten a crack at him. But unfortunately, by having charged him and now going through extradition proceedings, obviously he wasn't able to attend.
Yeah, because he's in jail in the Bahamas. What do you think are the chances that he ends up extradited to the United States? Could there be any kind of a hiccup?
Well, there's always a problem when there's extradition, John. This is why this also didn't make sense, because he had indicated that he was willing to come and testify before the Congress. So you would have had him in the United States. So you wouldn't have had to go through an extradition proceeding. But ultimately, they're going to be able to get him. But it just adds, if he wants to waive extradition, he can do that. But it just adds another wrinkle that the government would not have gone through had they just let him come here to testify. So we'll eventually get him here.
Meantime, Congresswoman Maxine Waters is the chair of the committee that was supposed to grill him. She apparently, it looks like on video, she blew a kiss at him when he was in Washington before he was scheduled to testify. She, tweeted out this note inviting him to come appear in front of the committee in a very sort of friendly way. This is a guy who is accused of stealing $10 billion from investors. Is she the one who really should be grilling him?
Well, this is what happens when you have money involved in politics, John. Yes, if it were me, but that's Bob Bianchi, I would not be involved in that because I would see it as a perceived conflict of interest. Nevertheless, this is the system that we have set up. Let's not make any mistake. He was donating money to people across both political parties extensively, directly, as well as through straw donors, which is one of the charges that he's charged with here. So he was spreading a lot of money around to a lot of people, and there's always going to be that level of conflict. But of course, it's a public proceeding. You can tell whether or not they're going to blow him kisses, i.e. with respect to their questions or not. And that will really tell you whether or not they're in his pocket or not.
Yeah. Former national finance team member from the Clinton campaign had some advice on this. Listen to what Al Nader has to say.
They ought to give it back. Just as, if Democratic politicians, for example, want to be pious and say they're not going to take money from oil executives or pharma executives, they certainly shouldn't be keeping money from a criminal who's in a Bahama prison. This whole thing was a sham. It's good he's in jail. They should give the money back, and both the Senate and the House ought to look at it, period.
I think the chances are, Bob, that some of these members of Congress give back the contributions.
A number of them have indicated that they're going to do it. They all should do it. This is stolen money, essentially. Look, there was nothing wrong with them taking the donations. But now that they know that this was money that these customers, these poor people, put their life savings, some of them, into this account with FTX, and then ultimately that money was being used to fund what is being alleged to be a hedge fund that he was running, Almedia, which is against the subscriber and use information that was given to those people. They were told that that money would not be used in that fashion. So if that wound up into the coffers of political people, Democrat, Republican, it should be given back to the best extent possible to make the consumers whole that were defrauded based on these allegations.
Before we let you go, I got to get your thoughts on the Idaho investigation. You're a former prosecutor, 5 weeks in, and no indication that an arrest could be imminent in a very bloody case. Your thoughts?
John, as a former homicide prosecutor, I try not to jump to conclusions. We've had some stubborn cases, I myself personally, that have taken 8, 9 months. But what concerns me is the media mismanagement that's going on here. And my question has always been, when I've commented on this case, is the media mismanagement emblematic or what is going on in the investigation itself? You have multiple agencies here. They're not on the same page. They should not be speaking with multiple voices and contradicting one another. This is not a department that has an extensive history in homicide investigations. And so I am very concerned if the media management is what's going on in the investigation, this could be slipping away from being solved.
Well, very quickly, what do you mean by media management?
Well, they have, for example, the police chief is giving out information, and that's contradicting information that the prosecutor is giving out. And then they're trying to come back and say, well, wait a minute, we really didn't mean that. For example, the best example of that is that there's not a danger to the community. They made that statement without even knowing who the suspect was. And then they have to go back and they have to walk that back. So it's kind of amateur hours to me. Now, I know the FBI is involved in it, but when I did these things, there was a unified voice. It was the prosecutor. They are the ones that are going to be presenting a case in court if they make an arrest. They shouldn't have multiple people giving out information, especially when it hasn't been confirmed, and then have to walk that back. That is just really sloppy, John.
Bob Bianchi, former prosecutor and a criminal defense attorney now. Bob, thank you.
Thank you.